Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to PWR Today. I've been listening to the openings, and it sounds like I start off real low and say, good morning, wrestling fans. And then I get really excited and talk about it like this. It's almost like, Matthew, where I'm saying, tonight's going to be the greatest wrestling in Nitro history. We have a capacity crowd. All right, Matthew, good morning. Welcome to PWR Today. It's Friday morning, February 11th, 2022. The man to call Meathead and Matthew Thomas.
Well, it's glad to hear you're very excited on this Friday morning, Meathead. That's the way, you started the show off with like that harkens back to the little bit of Meathead in your cup days.
The best part of waking up is when Meathead puts himself in your cup. Matthew Thomas, before we get lost in the shenanigans that is our lives, go ahead and tell us the sponsor.
Oh, it's a Collar and Elbow brand, available exclusively at collarandelbowbrand.com. Enter promo code Linda K, save yourself 10%. And also, maybe you can sign up for Matthew and Meathead's registry. Can we create a registry there yet?
Why? You plan on getting married with me?
No. You don't need to be married for registries. Like that's the misconception people have. They think it's like a wedding or a special thing.
It's funny you say that. A registry is really a GoFundMe from the 80s.
Yeah, so if somebody's like, hey, those guys, Matthew and Meathead, I really like to do something nice for them. Hey, maybe I can buy them a collar and elbow shirt. Hey, that would be a really nice feature to have. Al, if you're listening, a registry for Meathead and myself.
Huh. That's not bad. What would you like to see me wear when I'm down in Dallas?
And the thing of it is, what we could actually do is if whatever they buy us, we could take a picture of ourselves in that and send it to them. It's like, what do you want to see me wear? And I'll take a picture and send you a special video message with it.
Well, I'm not above doing cameo videos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then you can take it a step further and it's like, all right, well, what would you like for me to wear or not wear? While I'm wearing the collar and elbow shirt that you purchased from me. Yeah. Like I said, I think there's definitely a business venture here.
All right. Before we get off into the news here, I want to talk about Shenanigans. It's coming up, Matthew. It's Friday, April 1st. Shenanigans Dallas, hosted by Kevin Nash. Head on over to shenanigansparty.com. Let me double check that website address. I believe it's shenanigansparty.com. Let's check on that. Yeah, Google Shenanigans Party Dallas, and then get on over to the website. There's a big deal going on. For those that don't know, this is one of the biggest events of WrestleMania weekend. And we're not telling you it's the biggest event of WrestleMania weekend because it's our event, but it really is the biggest event. You want to talk about that forbidden door that was opened before there was a forbidden door? This is the party where it happened at. Kevin Nash hosted it. It was co-hosted by the Pro Wrestling Report, Damian Nelson, David Hero. And, it's got people from the wrestling world, from all the companies. It's got people from the entertainment world. It's got people from the sports world that show up. This is the place to hang out. So if you haven't yet, get on over to shenanigansparty.com and check out your tickets. There's VIP experience. There's platinum guests, gold VIPs. So far, again, we haven't started announcing a ton of the people, but so far it's SoCal Val, it's Al Snow, it's Scotty Too Hottie, Kevin Nash, and much, much more to be announced all the way up until WrestleMania weekend. And some of them we can't announce. They're just going to be there. So get on over to shenanigansparty.com.
Absolutely. And it's at Gillies, so you got to think there's going to be a mechanical bull or two there. I think Matthew Thomas, the man they call Meathead, might have to square off in a mechanical bull contest.
A mechanical bull off?
Yeah, a mechanical bull off.
Well, as long as they don't kill the cow. Aha, there's a little Peacemaker reference there for you. How about that?
Hey, you're just dropping them all into this morning, I'm
dropping deuces on you. All right. Let's talk news here before we start getting kicked off the air. Lita explains her decision to wrestle in Saudi Arabia despite her previous criticisms. Now, Lita is going to take on Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's title at the Elimination Chamber in Jeddah. She was very against WWE's relationship with the Saudis and explains it like this. This is her comment from 2018, okay? I understand that they are a business, a global business, and they're always looking to expand their presence. However, I do feel that this was a direct conflict of interest with them maintaining any integrity or truth to the fact that they said they would like to push forward women, their rules, and their reputations in the business has anything resembling equal to a male. Okay. That was 2018. Now let's talk about 2022. So I will say that I was outspoken on the early relationship between WWE and Saudi. Oh, they say they want women to wrestle over there, but I'm like, I don't know if I believe it. There's no women on this card. There's women on the card now, and I've talked to the women previously that have been over in there, and they're like, it's unbelievable. There are women crying, never thinking that they would see two women be so strong in the ring. They're like, it's really powerful. You're going to enjoy that. And so, sure, they have a long way to go. Do we as a society have a long way to go? Absolutely. But you got to take the opportunities when they're there. I have zero issues with this at all. Lita had a stance in 2018. Yeah. WWE's done more about it. Saudi's done more about it. The women do have to wear full bodysuits when they compete in the ring, but they're getting matches. And it's not just one match. They're not just out there waving their hand. They're out there competing. So I'm absolutely content with where Lita stands 4 years later.
Yeah, it's an opinion, and everybody's entitled to one, and everybody's entitled to evolve their opinion as, time goes on, whether it's a year later or whether it's a day later. And, it's one thing now in the advent of the internet and everything archived and having this, people try to, pigeonhole people into, well, you said this at this juncture, and now you're saying this. Well, Matthew Thomas said he couldn't stand chicken tenders after he made so many chicken tenders that he gave himself food poisoning. And then, you know what? He's able to say, hey, I love chicken tenders again. And that's the benefit of being a human being. And we need to give each other all of that grace so everybody can go back to loving chicken tenders.
Okay, chicken lover, let's talk about some other bigger news, actually. This is not a world that we normally step into, but I feel we have to talk about it. Ultimate Fighting Championships, Matthew, UFC. Very hot in the news. A lightning rod of controversy right now. Joe Rogan is confirmed to be on commentary this Saturday, tomorrow night, for UFC 271 with Daniel Cormier and John Anik in the booth.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a mainstay in UFC, and I don't necessarily with everything that's going on with Spotify, which hosts this podcast, one of many places you can access this podcast from. I don't see them changing course in any capacity. I didn't think that was necessarily going to be an option there, and it sounds like they're staying the course with one of the people.
Well, I mean, there's a guy out there that's kind of a free agent named Mauro Ranallo. That would be an amazing person to have call UFC.
Yeah, he would be a fantastic addition there. But yeah, it sounds like they are going back to their normal well of Rogan this weekend.
Okay. WWE's Madison Square Garden return matches have already been announced for their next big house show at the Garden, and they're not pulling any punches here. They're bringing out all the big guns. Announced already for MSG: Lesnar, Lashley, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Becky Lynch in a three-way match. Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks taking on Natalya and Charlotte Flair. Holy smokes. I mean, they are not playing games here.
This is what you got to do to move tickets to a house show. I mean, give the people something to talk about. Give the people these matches to look forward to. And I mean, I'm the Lesnar Lashley for only the second time that's ever happened. I mean, that should sell the building out in and of itself right there. They are loading the card up.
Now let's talk about that. Should. Because the last house show that they had at MSG, which was the post-Christmas one, they didn't sell out half the building. And they announced everybody. They had a double show. They were doing 2-for-1 tickets. They couldn't get anybody to that building.
I would like to think it would sell out. I don't think it's going to sell out. I mean, when you're seeing the numbers for Raw that
we're going to talk about numbers on NXT in just a second.
That I saw Monday night. I mean, it was going to WWE Raw in early 2022, like I did the other night, compared to any other Raw or SmackDown that I've ever been to. It was a much, much different feel as far as I felt a little claustrophobic, to be honest with you. And maybe that was just the rows being a little bit tight. But, I mean, you had the upper level, blocked off. You had the non-TV side, lower level, man. I mean, those seats were pretty empty as well too. It is a different feel even for WWE TV right now. So as great as this card is, man, I think that they're probably still going to have a very, very hard time selling that bill tonight or even coming close.
NXT draws record low ratings as they move to sci-fi. Again, they're being bumped for the Olympics. And the show averaged only 400,000 viewers, drew a 0.07 rating in the 18 to 49 demo. We've said this multiple times. Who is this show made for? And that number right there tells you, as sure as hell isn't made for 18 to 49.
No. And again, at times it reminds me of like WWE Junior, but you have, I mean, your main roster product is still largely a youth-based product. So I don't know that there is necessarily that market that they think is out there for what they're doing with NXT 2.0. I mean, this has been a major, major change in course with WWE. And I mean, NXT for years was recognized. It was positioned almost as a completely different brand, a much more of a wrestling, less sports entertainment brand. And I mean, now you are trying to utilize that purely as developmental with, I mean, basically just
honestly, USA Network has got to be shitting in their pants.
Yeah.
Because they paid for a top tier program to sell advertisement to, and these numbers are terrible.
So Meathead, how long did USA actually have original NXT? I'm trying to think. Did they go? Was NXT? Did NXT start running as soon as Dynamite?
On purpose.
Okay.
Dynamite was announced first, but NXT said, you know what? We're going live on USA, and we're going to do it before that.
Interesting. So they had a 2-year run, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once they lost the quote unquote Wednesday Night Wars and moved off of Wednesday to Tuesday, they literally just said, done.
Well, keep in mind, and maybe my memory is wrong here, but NXT, when they went to USA, that's when it went to 2 hours, right? Original NXT on the network was 1 hour, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And you know what? That first year of NXT was still good TV.
Yeah. And
but
honestly,
what they ended up getting was, and I hate the term, but what they ended up getting was indie-rific talent.
Yeah.
They were pulling all these guys from the Ring of Honors and, the Japans and, all the guys that were hot on the indies and, guys that the fans knew. Now, as you just said, they're using it purely as developmental.
And say what you will, but I got to think part of the reason that original Gold and Black NXT 1.0 did so well for so many years, man, outside of your takeovers, you had a 1 hour weekly product. And WWE, 2 to 3 is what we've had for so many years on WWE television. There is still that market there that wants to see an hour of solid wrestling a week. And I think between
we're going to talk about an hour of solid wrestling, 4 matches on Rampage tonight.
Yeah, between the talent and, the duration, I think that's part of what really made NXT as fondly thought of as it was for so long.
Let's talk OVW real quick here. Our girl, our co-host, our partner, Matthew, the lovely Linda Kay, down in Louisville, and OVW had tough love last night. And Linda was on a game show. Did you see it?
I did. I mean, that's man, I've seen a lot of game shows this week. I actually was in attendance for one on Monday night.
Yeah.
And although I couldn't be in Louisville now, I actually saw another one on my TV and saw somebody that I know on the game show.
Well, it looked like Linda was going to win the dating game or the matchmaking game, where she was going to be a tag team partner and get in the ring. But, shenanigans occurred after. But let's talk about what happened before that on the program. Our fanny pack kid, Cal Hero, who is one half of the tag team champions, but is out currently due to injury. Well, his partner, Dustin Jackson, had to take on the Dark Clouds. And the Dark Clouds, it was 2-on-1. Dustin had to defend the titles by himself. Well, unfortunately, the kid with the fanny pack is no longer a tag team champion, the winner, and new tag team champions, Dark Clouds.
So let me get this straight. Earl Hebner was not involved in this.
Earl
finish,
Hebner was not involved.
Okay, because I did see Cal get screwed over by Earl Hebner back in December, so I wanted to at least make sure that he had no part of that. Oh my goodness, sorry to see that go down, but again, 2-on-1. I mean, it's not very fair. What's going to happen there?
I mean, it is what it is, right? So, unfortunately, the kid with the fanny pack, the Cal, the hero, the former senior intern of PWR, he'll be back once he heals, and I'm pretty sure him and Dustin Jackson are going to get those titles.
Yeah,
back
you're owed a rematch, man. You can't go 2-on-1. That's not fair.
Yeah, so it is what it is, though. Now the winners and new tag team champions, Dark Clouds. Let's talk about a solid hour of wrestling before we get into SmackDown. Rampage tonight, there's 4 matches. The Young Bucks and Roppongi Vice. AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus taking on the Ass Boys, the Gun
All right.
Club.
It's time, man. Do they come out to the new Ass Boys music?
I don't know. Danhausen would be pleased. And Send Hook. He's taking on QT Marshall student Blake Lee.
Oh my goodness. I mean, the highlight of that is... Did I say
4 matches? It looks like it's 3, but I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be a 4th match.
Yeah, well, I mean, it might very well be that, the standing ovation for Hook goes on so long that they can't fit a 4th match in there.
He's the new Goldberg. We coined it here first, folks.
Yeah, no, you are spot on, man. You are spot on. That is, it's something to watch.
All right, you ready to talk a little bit about Smackdown?
I think that's as good an idea as I've ever heard.
Folks, I know you listen to Matthew Thomas on a daily basis when he's on, right? Do you ever believe anything he says? Matthew, of course. You know what? That's probably the worst thing I've ever heard. Do you agree?
Wait a minute. You put me on the spot here. I plead the 5th.
Okay. I thought you were going to go, yep, that's probably the best thing I've ever heard. You're almost like the Ed McMahon. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? We'll have to talk about my sweepstakes a little while later, too.
Yes. Hey, now. Yeah. Thanks, Ed. Let's talk about SmackDown. Paul Heyman still at the side of Roman Reigns. How long is this going on?
It's going on till Mania, that's for sure.
Okay. Does he turn on Roman again and go back to Brock and say,
I don't
hope
know.
Not, right?
No, I hope not. Because here's the thing with Brock now. I mean, Brock is in green pastures, man. Brock.
You did a Farmer Brock joke.
I did a Farmer Brock joke. He is cruising with his promos. His promos, man. People want to cheer him. They want to cheer him not just because he's dominant, because he's a likable babyface. So I think in order to get the most out of Brock right now, you keep Roman with Paul. And if a lot of the rumors are correct and they are trying to get to Roman Rock potentially next year at Mania, I think you see Heyman by his side until then. Whether he's got the title or the title's involved, I don't necessarily know. I mean, here's the thing with Roman. Roman has got, so good and so over. He'd be fine on the mic without Paul, but I think that Paul Heyman, it adds something. Even if Paul just stands there, it adds something to the Roman Reigns character and, what they're doing with Roman Reigns and the Usos.
Okay. Well, we're working our way towards Elimination Chamber next week, Saturday at 12 Eastern, 11 a.m. Central on the Peacock. Folks that have Comcast, folks that have Spectrum, make sure you're signing up for that free year of the Peacock to watch this pay-per-view absolutely free, because when it was $49.99, you guys were paying for it. There's people still paying for it. That when it got down to $9.99, you big dummy, on the WWE Network, you were paying for it. So why wouldn't you want it for free? Because that's pretty much what the product is worth sometimes.
Hey, I mean, if it's free, it's free.
If it's free, it's me. That's a Milwaukee slogan since the 1850s. Just kidding. Matthew, we were all over, man, today. I tell you, we were just like Johnny Cash. We've been everywhere, man. We've been everywhere, man.
Hey, it's what you got to do sometimes. I mean, Friday, what you're doing, you've had a big week of news. And so what you're doing, you're kind of regurgitating some of the news that you've had and
Oh,
the news that are going into the weekend. You're
kind of
just
like if Eagly was to attack.
yeah, yeah. You're just putting into just a big, you're going into the weekend. You're going to go 2 days without us. I bet our listeners feel a lot like I always felt a little bit kind of weird and funny inside when Mr. Rogers, did not say he would see us tomorrow when he would see us later. Because remember, there was a different, like see you whenever when you were going into a weekend, and you kind of felt a little weird and strange that you were not going to see Mr. Rogers tomorrow. And we have to
If
say
Mr. Rogers was talking to me directly, I was feeling weird and strange anyways, and I wouldn't let him close.
We have to say that to the audience now. We can't say we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you in a few days, man. They got to go a couple of days without us, and we want to make sure that we give them their money's worth, that we give them enough. It's like, if you're feeding an animal that you're going to leave alone for a while or a few days, or I don't have any pets, but I assume if you're going to leave an animal alone for a couple of days, you just feed them a whole lot prior to leaving, right?
So what you're saying is like when Chris, John Cena, left Eagly alone with, he said oh my God, I'm sorry I'm spoiling this, but I got to say this line. I should have left you with an ugly chick. At least she was desperate for love.
Yeah, so like you do, you fill up the bowl to make sure that they can go for a couple of days when they don't have any food. And that's kind of what we do for our audience, right? We're just filling up the bowl going into the weekend where they've got to go without us for a couple of days.
Good God. We are done, folks. For Linda Kay, who's down in the Ville, and you know what? There's actually another show. I know Linda said that she's got another show. Do you remember? It was what was it? She was doing in Versailles, right? It was the Malice in Versailles. Linda Kay making her way around the Ohio Valley area doing some ring announcing. You know who's going to be the star attraction down there besides Linda Kay?
You know what? I don't know how. I don't know if it's very sanitary, but I think it's a guy who spits in the face of people, right?
Because he spits in the face of people who don't want to be cool. And he calls Chris Masters a meathead. So
oh my goodness. Well, that's a compliment.
Carlito.
That's a compliment in some circles.
There you go. But yeah, if you're down in Versailles, Indiana, check out Linda Kay and Carlito down there this weekend as well.
Wait a minute. So it's not where the Palace is at? It's not
the Malice at the Palace. No,
Ron King had the thing. Okay. Well, that's as long as there's not a Malice in the stands, I guess that's a good thing. And everybody.
We're about to mace your microphone in a second.
Feed your animals. Don't listen to what I said. PSA: make sure your animals have plenty of food.
For Linda Kay, for Matthew Thomas on the Man They Call Meathead, thanks for stopping by. We will talk to you Monday morning. So long, everyone.